troublemaker.
Welcome to the walkthrough of Dark Souls 2 with me, Troublemaker. Hello, hello! If you're familiar with Dark Souls, you're not going to need this walkthrough, really. We're going to go over game mechanics and all of that, in addition to just where to go and where to find things. I've played this game through a few times. My main character's on New Game Plus Plus. I do primarily co-op. I like to do that sort of thing. We may or may not co-op in this walkthrough. I might. It depends on where I'm at or how challenging I'm feeling like being. But for now, let's start. So we're going to do a new game. And it's really cool that they give you a lot more options to personalize your character. Dark Souls 1 didn't really have a whole lot of things to do. And I'm going to go ahead and skip this stuff because you'll watch it. You don't need me to do that for you. But yeah, Dark Souls 1 didn't have a whole lot of personalization options or customization options. They added a lot more here in Dark Souls 2, which is pretty cool. So there's a couple things around this area. In New Game Plus, there will actually be these little hawk enemy guys. I can't remember where the things are. That will attack you the minute that you spawn here. But in New Game Plus, you'll also have weapons right away, so it won't be a huge deal. Where's the stuff? Anyway, like I was saying, I'm going to go over some of the game mechanics and just things for, if you're just starting out in Dark Souls, things to keep an eye on, how to play your best, all that jazz. I swear there was something. What the hell? Was I high? Am I retarded? Maybe I was. Maybe I am. Well, fine then. Never mind. Okay, so we're going to go see the old ladies. The first thing to remember in Dark Souls, if you just started playing this game, it's over here, is to watch your stamina. So it's called stamina management, and that little green bar you can see when I'm running, you see that green bar go down. So that's your energy. That allows you to run, roll, swing, all sorts of good stuff. These guys will also attack you when and if you come back. They're not going to do it now. Dark Souls is being nice to you a little bit. But once that runs out, it's going to take a while for you to be able to do anything again. So when you hold, you hold down B to run, probably circle for PlayStation. But so I'm going to keep holding it down and see. So I start walking, I'm still holding it down, but watch how much longer it takes to start running again. So it takes that long. But if you run until that, you don't let it go all the way, so I'll release it right there, I can start running again before it's even done filling up. So that is quite possibly the most important thing to remember in this game. This thing over here that we can go get. And there's another thing over here, I guess for the sake of the walkthrough we can go do that. This is also my first walkthrough, so congratulations, thanks for hanging out with me and being one of my first walkthroughs. There is Hippoclops. We don't want to anger him because he is way beyond our ability to kill at the moment, so just be really slow. Don't aggro him. You don't want to make him mad. Those guys are kind of a pain to kill even when you have super upgraded weapons and you're strong and all that jazz. So this gold pine resin that we just picked up, you'll be able to apply it to weapons, and that does lightning damage. So I don't know what our name's we're gonna be. I'm gonna call her Walker. Because it's the walkthrough. Hooray! Yes. So here's our, how we make our character. So starting class really doesn't matter. If you're new to Dark Souls, this is a really popular question. Those who are experienced already know this. Really the only difference in your class is what you start with, your weapons that you start with, and your starting stats. So here are your stats right here. Here's your overall level, which doesn't really matter for this part. This is your HP, your overall life bar. Here's your endurance, your green bar, your stamina bar. Vitality, really all this does is determines how much you can carry. So equipment load becomes pretty important here as well, and it affects how fast you move, how far you roll, all of that stuff. It also affects how fast you consume stamina. Attunement is for intelligence, for like sorceries or pyromancies. So your attunement slots determine how many spells you're able to attune at once. You need 10 attunement to be able to have one attunement slot. Faith is for miracles. Oh yeah, attunement's for miracles as well. So miracles are like lightning, healing, barrier, all that sort of thing. Intelligence directly influences magic. So your faith is, the higher your faith, the more damage your miracles do. It also affects your lightning. Intelligence affects magic as well as pyromancies. So this stat scales with fire and magic. Adaptability, dark as well, I think. Adaptability is, how fast you do things. So it increases everything for survival, how fast you drink your Estus, which heals you, how fast you consume life crystals, how fast you do everything. If you eat things, if you eat herbs to bring back your spell count, all sorts of stuff. It also affects how far you roll, how fast you're able to maneuver, that sort of thing. Dexterity is a weapon stat, so certain weapons will require dexterity. Katanas, for instance, are fast swords. Rapiers, the little thrusting swords. And this is strength. So while this determines things like clubs, axes, maces, this will determine things that you need to use fast. So some weapons require both strength and dexterity. Well, they all require some dexterity and some strength, but some require high on both. So this really just depends on what kind of build you're planning to make with your character. Is it going to be a pyromancer? Is it going to be a sorcerer? Is she going to be a cleric? That sort of thing. If you're just starting out with Dark Souls, then don't worry about it for now. If you want to be a ranged fighter, magic is going to be best for sure, or pyromancy. Pyromancy is really strong in this game, as well as magic. If you want to be, melee, then strength is where you want to go. If you're not really sure, you can go deprived. So deprived gives you equal on everything, but you don't have to be a sorcerer to be able to cast magic. All you need is intelligence. That's it. So for the sake of this walkthrough, I think we are going to do, what do I want to do? I think we're going to do, let's do cleric. I think we're going to do an intelligence faith build. Maybe not. Maybe we'll do a strength build. Seems to be a common one. So we're going to start off with yeah, we're going to start off as a warrior. Let's do that. So your gifts, life ring, this increases your overall life bar slightly. Human effigies are really important for this game. I usually go with an effigy, and I think we're going to go with this now. This is various items, so it's giving you 2 small life gems, a medium life gem, a large life gem, and a moss thing that gets rid of poison buildup. So these life gems are kind of like you're healing your Estus, which you'll see, but they heal over time, so slowly, but you consume them faster. So if you don't have time to drink your Estus, you can use these and it's quite faster if you're in boss fights or whatever. Homeward Bone will bring you back to the last bonfire you rested at, which is basically your save point. Well, not your save point, but your starting points, like checkpoints. Seed Tree of Giants. So what this does is if you have an invader, so another player has invaded your world and they're now an enemy and they're going to kill you, you also have other enemies in your world, and a lot of invaders will be big pussies. So they'll invade you and then they'll hide behind other enemies. So they'll try to drag you out or draw you into an area where you have other enemies. So then it ends up being, you know, more than 1-on-1, 2-on-1, 3-on-1, 4-on-1, depending on where you're at. What the Seed of Tree of Giants does, this turns your enemies into your allies. So then they all turn on the invader rather than being an ally of the invader. Bonfire aesthetics you burn to make the area harder. So if you're just starting out, don't do this because it's going to be useless to you. Petrified something you trade to the birds to get random items. So this can be useful, but you don't really know what you're going to get when you trade. So especially if you're just starting out, we're going to go with Effigy. So effigies turn you human, which becomes important, and we'll talk about that later. I'm going to go with the chick, because I always do, and I like her to be thin and pretty. And so here you've got a lot of stuff. You can choose hair color, eyebrow shape, eyebrow color, eye color, put tattoos. But I like to actually do advanced settings. So here you have really a lot of control over how they look. So you can do age, you know, young or old, and it will age them. Kind of. You can kind of see she looks super dykey right now. Everybody wants to be young, so we're going to be young. Go more feminine. This is just like an overall setting. I'll make her crazy. Make her blue, I think. I like the blue. So you can really do a lot with the skin color here. It's pretty crazy. You have 5 skin color settings. She sat out in the sun too long. You can go really, really blue, really, really orange. But these are almost like RGB sliders, kind of. She's glowing. Let's not do that. Oh. Yeah, that's good. It's good enough. Oops. Bald. No. Dready chick, kinda. Braids. I like the pigtails a lot. I also like this hairstyle. I think I'm gonna go pigtails. I like pigtails. It's fun. Where do you go with red? Nope. Wait. Let's do fuchsia. I like fuchsia. So you can play with this. You know, these are overall changes. And then you can get really specific. So let's do the eyebrows first. And you can really have fun with this. There's a lot of options for creating male or female characters. But yeah, I'm not going to do a whole lot of this. So this is good enough, but you can do, so the one thing that I've just noticed today actually about the tattoos, so you put tattoos on their face, but you can also change the position, the angle, and the size. So we can change the size of these things. So I liked my last character that I just created. I gave her a little mole. Yeah, it's kind of, it's a huge difference between the two. We'll put it right there. Pretty. Okay. That's enough of that. So we'll finish. Yes.